Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Gail Dudley, and this is your News in Motion. Today is Monday, y'all. It is Monday, January the 24th, 2022. It's been a great weekend. I just want you all to come on in the room, and as you're coming in, let me know what did you do this weekend besides watch the football games. So what did you do? Come on in the room. For many of us, we had snow. For others, maybe you were in the sunshine, maybe you were surfing. I don't know. But when you come in, let us know what you did this weekend. For those of you who are tuning in by audio, you can always write in at any time to let us know. Give us your name, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we will give you a shout out during the week. There's so many of you that are driving in listening by audio. We saw those numbers this past Friday, and we're up to almost 43,000 people. So there's a lot of you that are tuning in on audio as you're whether driving to work, driving to school, listening on your job, whatever. And we're just so excited. So I want to know a little bit about you. I see you, Jeffrey Allen James. What's up, John Gore? John Gore said, have a great day and go with the great football weekend ever. Wasn't it great? Although I didn't watch it, but I was like listening to my siblings. We have a group chat. I think I've shared that with y'all. So like I don't have a team, so I can't really follow anything, but my siblings were just talking about it, and everyone all over was talking about it. I said, it must be a great weekend for some football. Good morning, Dr. Kim Carter. Good morning, Hester. Good morning, Yvonne. Good morning, Kelly Lee. So good to see you on here. What's up, Deborah Johnson? What's up? Yeah, I am so excited. Just because I see, and if I can just share this in here just for a moment, I see God's hand. I see his hand, and so I'm excited about seeing his hand. And I'm grateful for all of you who have answered the call to tune in and to support News in Motion. I am very grateful. Good morning, Marion Jackson. Yvonne said that was the best weekend of football ever. Deborah said, what a fun football weekend. Y'all are the football fanatic people. Okay. See, I only really follow college football because of my Buckeyes. So I'm lost when it comes to the NFL. I'm trying to decide where I'm going to land. I'll probably land where my son is, and that's with the 49ers, just to say that, hey, I've got a team. What's up, Pastor Alex? Good morning to you. So yes, y'all. Good morning, Dr. Antoinette. Good morning, y'all. It is Monday, January the 24th, 2022. And it's time for the weekend recap, the headline news. I see my brother popping up in here. I am your host, Gail Dudley. Some of you who have written in said, okay, who's Gail Dudley? So I'm going to just give you just a little bit about who I am. First of all, News in Motion started January the 22nd, 2020. Although I had been doing lives off and on for probably 4 years before that time. I am an author of 14 books, published books. You can find them wherever you find your books. I'm a host of a podcast. It used to be called Something in Mimosas. We changed it to Mimosa Friday. And guess what, y'all? As of February the 1st, we have changed it once again because we did an audit. It's going to be the NIM, the podcast. So News in Motion, the podcast. Why? Well, I don't know if some of you know or have heard of Joe Madison. He's actually doing a hunger strike right now on Sirius XM. Well, he and Dr. Cook thought it best because of what I do that I make a name out there that will draw people. And since I already have News in Motion, to go ahead and carry that on to Friday. And they like the Friday separation from the 4 days of the live broadcast to a podcast. So here's somebody who just happened to come across my information. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I see God's hand, and it's just amazing. And I know God's hand is on all of you as well. So that's what's going to be happening with the podcast. I am a wife of a wonderful man, Reverend Dr. Kevin Detley, and I have 2 adult children, Dominic, who's by my side quite often doing the work that I do, and my son, I love my son, Alexander Roseborough Dudley. So I do facilitation. I do consulting. I do books. I do conferences, retreats. I serve as a panelist. So the news, I have a love for politics, and that's where News in Motion came from. And it came at a time when we were all on lockdown, and it has grown from there. And I'm just so excited about it. Our team is growing. As you all know, we now have Daniel Gibson, who is that PR focus. And I want you all to meet him and participate with him. He's with the strategist group. If anyone's in that place, I would love to give you the information. We have Camille Hopkins. I want to call her Pleasant, but she's married. Camille Hopkins, who's doing the virtual assistant. She kind of like told me take my hands off stuff. She's kind of like that blocker, if you will. And then we also have Christina Peck, who's doing all the social media. And she was able to inform me this past week with her metrics that the social media side is growing. And then I have my nephew, Isaiah Jones, that is Latrice and Fred Jones' son, who's going to be working behind the scenes. He's into media. I thought, hey, I have a place for you. So he's going to be taking care of all the controls on the other end as of February. So I'm just so excited about what God is doing. So for those of you who have been asking, that's just a little bit about who we are. With so many people tuning in and new followers and everything, I thought it was only fitting to take this time this morning to share some of this. If this is your first time tuning in, and we are going to change those graphics, the live is Monday through Thursday at 7:25 a.m. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it on LinkedIn. You can find it on YouTube. That's the video. The audio are on all the other platforms: Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. I think I'm missing some. There's like 7 or 8 of them. They're there. Our main chat is here on the Facebook chat. So even if you're driving in and you can't participate in the chat at that time, you can always come to our News in Motion Facebook chat and see what's happening there and put your commentary. People are always going back looking at that. And then if you would do me a favor right now, all of you who are signed in, if you would hit that share button. This is how we grow. If you're wanting information out there to other people, if you would hit that share button and don't just share it, but put in the message, the comment section, hey, come on over and check us out. We would greatly appreciate you doing that. You can also subscribe to my YouTube, which is www.youtube.com/Gail Dudley. All right, y'all. I did miss some of them. It's iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. That's all those there. All right, whether you're watching the live or the replay, I'm just so glad you decided to come and hang out with us. And without going on and on and on, let's get started. I see more of you coming in. I see you, Regina and Rosanna and Latrice and Kim Edmondson and Stephanie Burbridge Hall. Good morning to all of you as well. A couple who sent in emails saying, hey, shout my name out. I have a Richard. I don't have his last name. I have a Katrina. I have a Beverly. I have a Paula. And I have an Edward. So good morning to you who are listening by audio. All right, y'all. CBS News is reporting new details have emerged on Vanessa Bryant's lawsuit. She was married to Kobe Bryant. He and his daughter, and along with others, were killed in a helicopter crash in 2020. In Los Angeles County, involving photos of the victims of the deadly chopper crash where her husband Kobe Bryant and daughter Gianna and 7 others died. Bryant's lawyers claim that pictures of Kobe and Gianna's bodies were passed around on 28 LA County Sheriff's Department's devices and others belonging to a dozen of firefighters. CBS Los Angeles is reporting. Attorneys said the photos were shown in bars and at an awards gala. That's not okay. That is not okay. All right, y'all. Y'all know the story. The headline reads Fine 11,780 votes. Yes, Fannie Willis, the Fulton County DA, is escalating her investigation into Trump's election meddling, requesting a special grand jury to compel witnesses, namely Raffsperger, to testify in the probe. So that is heating up, and some people are calling that the next Watergate. So we're going to watch that unfold. All right, this book, and I want y'all to get this book. I think it's the best book on the Trump and the Trump White House yet. And this is by Melania Trump's chief of staff, Gresham, Stephanie Gresham. The book is called I'll Take Your Questions Now, What I Saw at the Trump White House by Stephanie Gresham. Now, here's a review. It says, after an early stint at the White House press office, Gresham moved to the East Wing to work for First Lady Melania Trump. This introduced Gresham to a whole new perspective on Trump world. She talked about in this book where she sent a text message, although she was working from home remotely that day. She sent a text message to Mrs. Trump on January the 6th saying, would you like to issue a statement for people to remain safe, to everyone calm down? And to which she replied, no. She said soon thereafter, she wrote her resignation letter. She said she was already having a struggle with some things that were going on because they were starting to take meetings in the residence, because in the residence, that's their home. So they didn't necessarily have to be recorded on any list. And she talked about the usher who once worked for the Trump organization and how they came into contact with one another. So that's really interesting how all of this is unfolding before our eyes. She did cooperate with the January 6th committee, and Gresham met with the committee this month, telling reporters that she cooperated fully. She said Trump held secret meetings in the days leading up to the Capitol riot. She said the meeting took place in the White House residence. Gresham served as a press secretary and top aide to First Lady Melania Trump. And here's a direct quote from Stephanie. She says, well, that was the beauty of having meetings in the residence like that. The former president did that often. He did that quite a bit because there was a lot of paranoia about leaks in the White House. And so he just had people up to his residence. She said in the residence, once again, you don't have to have a record of it. You just had to have somebody bring you in. She said, now Melania Trump did check in every now and then, and she would alert her because she was upset that people were in her home without her knowledge. So she would go in. She goes, that would be the only time she would get some of that information. So y'all, this is unfolding. It's coming from the north, south, east, and west. We don't know what the outcome will be, but I'm sure there's going to be an outcome. With that, everyone, I just want to hear your thoughts. If you would just put in the chat, what do you think is going to happen? Because the January the 6th committee is heating up. More and more people are coming forward. People are starting to ask questions. So if you have any thoughts, please put those in the chat. As you're putting them in the chat, let's get ready to hear from the one and only Kenny Stanley with the End Zone. So go ahead, y'all, fill the chat with what you think is going to come out from that, and we'll go from there. So hold on, Kenny is on his way. Hey, Kenny, what's happening?
What's going on? How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
I've been waiting for this End Zone report, so go ahead, take it over.
All right. Good morning, News and Motion family. Welcome to the End Zone with me, Kenny Stanley. What a playoff weekend we had this weekend. The NFL teams didn't disappoint. They didn't let us down. We had 3 games that ended on last-second field goal and 1 game that ended in overtime. Here are the scores. The Cincinnati Bengals knocked off the number 1 seeded Tennessee Titans 19-16, sliding the Bengals into the AFC Championship game for the first time since 1988, where they will face off with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs won in overtime 42-36 over the Buffalo Bills. This game was an instant classic. It reminded me of when we were kids outside playing and our moms was calling us in to eat, and we had to say the last touchdown win. Well, this game ended with whoever had the ball last, and that just happened to be the Chiefs. In the NFC, the LA Rams sent Tom Brady and his Tampa Bay Buccaneers packing 30-27. Quarterback Matthew Stafford hit Cooper Kupp with a 40-yard pass to set up the game-winning field goal as time ran off the clock, pushing them into the championship against their rivals, the 49ers. For the second time in my lifetime, a team goes into Lambeau Field and they beat the Green Bay Packers. The first time was Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons. And now we got Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers as they slayed the big bad Packers right on out the playoffs 13-10 on a field goal as time ran off the clock. These championship games should be just as good and as exciting this weekend as the teams battle to see who's going to play in Super Bowl 56. Who y'all rolling with? I do want to see how it's going to play out, but I can see a San Francisco 49ers versus the Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl coming up. They're the hottest two teams right now playing, and it seems that they're peaking at the right time. Gail brought up something last week, and I'm working on it. It had to dealing with transgenders competing with the sex they identify with. I'm working on it, and hopefully I'll have something for you in a couple of weeks. I just wanted to see how y'all felt about that. And the end zone was short and sweet because I really didn't pay no attention to any other sports this week but the playoffs. So NBA and everything else, I have to wait.
Wow, thank you, Kenny. Yeah, again, we're being intentional here at News in Motion to position people for their love, to get them out there to do training and workshops and consulting. And we have, I'm in partnership with called Power in Partnership with Molly Huggins and Gina Winks, who Gina is an audio engineer. And we're going to be launching people into their podcast. And this is a love of Kenny. So we have given him space here on Mondays to do his end zone. And from his end zone, it's going to go into something much greater. So continue to follow along with us with that. Kenny, before you go, I have a question because I asked the dumbest question on the other day to my son, and he kind of like looked at me like, Mom, seriously? And that question is, what's coming up this weekend? So we understand we had what, 4 games or whatever this weekend. What's coming up last weekend? What's coming up this weekend?
Well, what we had after the merger of the AFL and the NFL, they came up with a playoff system where you have the AFC, you have the NFC, and they all play, and they come up with the final 4 teams, is what we'll have this weekend. Final 4 teams, as I said, are the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And you have in the NFC, you have the LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. That's your final 4. It's just like the NCAA championship. You're down to your final 4 to see who's going to be the 2 to play. After this weekend, we'll know who's playing in Super Bowl 56.
Gotcha.
Wow, that's a long time. But yeah, we'll see who's playing in Super Bowl 56. And like I said, I'm kind of leaning towards a Bengals 49ers rematch for the 3rd time. And see if the Bengals can pull it off this time.
Look, I don't follow, but I keep hearing that would be a great game. So
yeah.
Kenny, thank you for all you do. I appreciate you. And we're going to continue to grow the end zone so where you can fly and take this to another level. And my hope is that you will be competing against someone like an ESPN.
I appreciate you and thank you for the opportunity.
All right. See you in a little bit.
See you later.
All right, y'all. So that's the recap there, the end zone with Kenny Stanley. So let's keep going, y'all. New York Times and Sarah Palin. Hello, somebody. The trial begins today. She's like a name from the past, but here she is. Y'all, the Palin PAC circulated a map that put Gifford, that's Kathy Gifford, and 19 other Dems under what they call a crosshair, like a rifle crosshair, and it wasn't true. So the New York Times quickly issued a correction and tweeted an apology, but they never mentioned Sarah Palin. Palin has sued the paper less than 2 weeks later, accusing it of defaming her and seeking unspecified damages. The suit was originally dismissed, but it was revived later by an appeals court. Now, don't just say it, demonstrate it. This is what's happening here, as the Associated Press is reporting. The New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced a new COVID restrictions and postponed her wedding after detecting 9 cases of Omicron in a family who traveled to the country. Following the discovery of 9 cases, the Omicron variant in a single family that flew to Auckland to attend a wedding. Now, I want y'all to hear this. The population of New Zealand is 5,122,600. And that was as of June the 30th, 2021. Now, that breaks down to 2,542,600 males and 2,580,000 females. Now, y'all, the median age there is 36 to 37. Now, get this. They're okay. No arguments with her saying shut down until we get these 9 cases under control. Nine cases under control. I'm beginning to think that's why she has been so successful. Here in the U.S., we're starting to see a slight peak, but they're really concerned because the deaths are going up. Here's an image to show you this. And this is from Our World Data. So you can see on January 23rd, 2022, the cases are starting to go down, but the deaths are starting to go up, and that is concerning. You can check out all of that yourself by just Googling our world and data and see more information there. Now, with that, they are now issuing that the N95 or the KN95 masks are the best. Now, there's still more questions about the N95 mask. They're saying the N95 mask, they're not what they call secure if you just have the ear loops. They are suggesting this. This is a great image out of the Washington Post that I thought I would share with you. The strap around the crown of the head and below the ears are critical to ensure the respirator fits tightly. A flexible nose clamp that helps with a tight seal. And then fit is critical so that air flows through the mask and not around the edges. So y'all, that is the map there. Not the map. That is the way that the N95 should be worn. So a lot of us don't want, there's people still pushing back on the mask. A lot of people saying, well, I don't want all that around my head. But those are the masks that fit securely. Okay, just want to let you know that. Also, if you're taking the home test, we're asked to show this video again. Please make sure you're following these instructions that are provided by the CDC completely so that you are getting a great reading on your home test. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Keisha. If you have COVID-19 symptoms or think you've been exposed to someone with COVID-19, you should get a COVID-19 test. This applies even if you are vaccinated. Using a self-test or home or at-home test can be a quick way to get results. You can use the self-test anywhere to find out if you have COVID-19. You can buy self-tests at a pharmacy or other retail store, and some self-tests are available without a prescription. Here are some tips on COVID-19 self-tests. Follow instructions for storing the test until you are ready to use. When you are ready to use the test, check the expiration date and kit components. Don't use expired tests or components that are damaged. Disinfect the surface where you will complete the test and wash your hands. Follow the instructions to collect your specimen, perform the test, and wait for the result. Throw away the collection swab once finished. Don't reuse test devices or other components. Disinfect the surfaces where you completed the test and wash your hands. Remember, even if you are fully vaccinated, CDC recommends that you get a COVID-19 test if you have COVID-19 symptoms or think you've been exposed to someone with COVID-19. Thanks for doing your part to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. For more information, visit cdc.gov/coronavirus.
So there you have it, y'all. We just want to continue to make sure all of you are healthy. Now, again, here on News in Motion, I will not say that you should go get a vaccine if you have not already been vaccinated or the booster, but I have all three. And that's what works best for me and my family. We're all following suit with that. So with that, I need somebody to say Ohio. And yes, I'm very partial to this because I live in Ohio. Y'all, just say Ohio. ABC News is reporting amid a global chip shortage, hello somebody, that it has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Intel announced Friday that it will invest more than $20 billion, that's with the B, in 2 new chip factories in Ohio. That's happening in Ohio. The new investment will significantly expand U.S. manufacturing capabilities for semiconductors and vital building blocks needed for computers, smartphones, autos, and much more. Somebody say Ohio. Much of the global tech industry currently relies on chip manufacturing out of Asia, but it's coming to Ohio. I'm excited to share with you that my adopted niece, the daughter of Pastor Timothy and Denise Carpenter, it is their daughter, and her dad is the one who conducts the theme music for News in Motion. She had a role in the $20 billion Intel chip deal. Congratulations to you, Molly, and to all the others who made sure that happened. So right here in Ohio. All right, other COVID news I want to share with you real quick. Axios is reporting that booster shots of Pfizer Biotech and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines are almost 90% effective in preventing hospitalization from the Omicron variant. So all of that's happening. All of that's in the news. All right, y'all know where I'm going, and you will probably get tired of me, but that's okay. Every so often, I'm going to talk about what we need to do as voters and those who we need to get to register to vote. So here's my moment to share that. So just stay with me. Let me get through this. We know last week that the bill did not pass. And you heard me share with you even then that doesn't mean we quit or that we fold, but that we have work to do. If you recall last year, several times I said, I believe this year will be a working year to getting our work out there, to doing what we need to do. So here's what I'm asking us to do today as a News in Motion family. If you're tuning in, we consider you a part of the family. We're asking all of you this week alone to find one person who is not registered to vote and help them get registered. Only one. We're asking you to find one. If you get more than one, fine. But identify that one person, which means we have to communicate with the people in our circle of influence and the people outside our circle of influence. Just ask someone. Go back to having that conversation. Again, it doesn't matter which side of the aisle they would vote for, but just say, are you registered? Are you registered to vote? And make sure in that conversation, you give them the links, whether that is vote.gov, whether that is whenweallvote.org, whether it's usa.gov, rockthevote.gov.org, excuse me. There's so many. You can go to your Secretary of State's office and do the same thing there as well. But what we want to do is make sure that people are registered to vote. So here from the desk of News in Motion, from the host, myself, Gail Dudley from News in Motion, I'm asking all of us to reach out and identify that one person that is not registered to vote. Hear me. If we get people registered, now in doing so, we have to be able to respond to those who's going to push back, where they may say, my vote doesn't count. Yes, it does count. And here's how it's going to count. Because going into these primaries in 2022, what are your visions? What are your morals? What are your values? What do you want to see within your community? Now, hear me. I'm not just talking national voting. I'm also talking your local voting as well. Start identifying, start doing some homework and understanding who's running for office. Look at their voting record. That is public knowledge. The other thing is, y'all, we have to give. As I shared last week, yes, once you give, it opens up a whole new thing and your email starts getting hit. So make up an email with Gmail or Yahoo or whomever that you know is going to be all the voting emails. Just give out that email, which means you don't have to open it unless you want to open it. But do that, you all. The other thing is start learning not only about the candidates that are running, but start reading what's some of the legislation that's in the chambers right now. What does that look like? Y'all, Christina is in here. By the way, I told y'all Christina is one of our team members. Y'all, she just had a baby 2 Fridays ago. Yeah, she just delivered a daughter. So congratulations to you. Y'all, that she's the one who's doing our social media. So make sure you send some love to her and congratulate her on baby girl. But listen, y'all, we have to do our part. We cannot say, man, they just don't want us to vote. We need to come back and say, okay, we understand you don't want us to vote. So now we're going to show you that we're going to vote. We're going to stand in line. We're going to be prepared. We're going to be educated. We're going to understand about the bills and the legislation that is out there. We're going to do our homework. And here, right here on News in Motion, we're going to provide information. We pride ourselves on sharing with you the facts, and we're going to get to you the facts. So if we know that something's coming on the table, we're putting it out here. Just like I shared with you today about the district attorney in Georgia and what's happening and how that's unfolding. We're going to share that. If you don't hear me share something, that means I'm still digging into it. If there's any information or news you want from us, let us know. Send us an email. You can send that email to newsinmotionwithgail, newsinmotionwithgail@gmail.com, newsinmotionwithgail@gmail.com. If there's something you want us to look at. Many of you are very good with sending in a DM saying, hey, have you seen this? Or what's going on with this? We really want to break apart and get an understanding of the filibuster, which I've been teaching on that for the past year and a half. We also want to talk about the closure rule, the Byrd rule. We want to talk about the carve out, all of that you've heard. We also want to talk about what's to come. And so we're going to dig into much of that to make sure we're delivering that to you. So please let people know, hey, check out News in Motion Monday through Thursday, live right here at 7:25 a.m. Eastern time, because we're going to give you the information. All right, we're also going to start identifying polling locations that have already been listed as closed going into the primaries. And this is only January. But in Florida, many polling locations have already been announced as closed. Where are they? In the marginalized communities. Which means if you have the time or the interest, please go to eac.gov and register to become a poll worker. Again, that's www.eac.gov and register to become a poll worker. They need you, we need you, so that these areas will not be closed. They're targeting those areas first, which will make it difficult for people to get to another polling location because, number one, they may not be aware, which is another thing and I know I'm giving you a whole lot, but I'll break it down as we go throughout the next several weeks. But listen, that's another part that we're going to have to do. So we're looking for some more News in Motion ambassadors. We're in all the states here. People are tuning in from all the states here. So if you have information of polling locations that are closing, become a News in Motion ambassador. What does that mean? You're feeding us information so that we can get information back to you. And we're going to figure out a way to make sure the people in those areas know their polling locations are closed, to prepare now as to where you go and what you're doing. So many people are saying, well, Uber and Lyft will always participate. You cannot always count on them. So what is our backup plan? Y'all, this is how we have to be strategic now moving forward. So this is more and more information that we're going to give to you from this platform of News in Motion. With that, let me give you the inspirational message for today. The inspirational message today is to listen. To listen. You know, not only, and many of you know, if you're new to this platform, I am a follower of Jesus. I am a believer, although we have people from all religious backgrounds tuning in. But I still give this inspirational message. So it's to listen to hear where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do, and to have your strategy to get there. So listen, so often we want to talk. So often we just want to express what we think and what we feel, but also be that person who's available to listen, to hear what's being said. It's in listening that we may learn so much more. Some of you laugh at me when I tell you that I get emails from the previous occupant, and they're like, why don't you just remove him? No, I'm listening. I'm reading and listening to see what he and his camp has to say. Some of it is difficult, but I'm listening for it, because through that, I'm able to then do other research and share that information with you. I listen to the critics. I listen to those who are naysayers. I listen to those who empower. But you do have to balance, but it's key to listen. I also listen to God. I'm listening to God to hear where he's leading me, how he's directing me, and how he wants me to move among the people. And there's days I pause, but many cases I'm trying to listen to hear his voice. He's telling me which way to go, because that's the direction I'm going to go. So I'm encouraging you today to listen as well. All right, y'all. Tomorrow we have That's Happening Tuesday. And trust me, we got it on a roll for tomorrow. I am Gail. I am your host of News in Motion. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Y'all know what I say. Stay well. Stay well, people. Wear your mask, practice social distancing, and yes, wash your hands. It's amazing that we tell people to wash their hands. I thought that was something we knew growing up, but I guess in many cases it's not. But anyway, y'all, stay well. And remember, make some bold moves. I'm out.